Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Becca and today I will be sharing with you 10 books that are going to self-destruct in 12 months. So this is a video that I did around a year ago. I have just posted my reaction to last year's video, but essentially I have selected 10 books that I was more interested in when I bought them than I am now, and they're kind of the books that are pretty much just going to linger on my shelf forever. So I'm giving myself a 12-month time limit to read these books, and if I have not read them at the end of that 12-month period, then I have to unhaul them. Now this is a little bit of a double-edged sword because I'm not too interested in this book, so there's kind of an assumption that I won't love them if I do read them, but if I don't read them then I have to unhaul them unread. I'm a person who really does not like to let go of books that I haven't read because over the course of my life I want to have read everything, even though I know that's not possible. So setting myself 12 months to kind of come to terms with the fact that these books are being unhauled allows my brain to come to the decision about whether I truly do want to read these books at all. So last year's round turned out to be really great for me. I think it worked out really well. So today I have 10 more books that are going to self-destruct in 12 months. So the first one of those is Ink by Alice Broadway. This one is a young adult fantasy. I picked this up because the cover is absolutely stunning. It is a book that I had seen around before. I think I picked this up at a charity shop anyway. I wasn't too interested in it aside from the fact that it's stunning, but my friend Jade from Jade Ray Reads read this series and enjoyed it. So I picked it up and I thought I would give it a go, but I'm not super interested in reading it, to be honest. All I know about the plot of this is that it takes place in a world where everything you do in your life, all of your accomplishments are inked onto your skin, and I believe when you die you're skinned, and your skin is either something like put on display or given back to your family. You have like a skin book. So yeah, that's all I know about this one. Not super hyped to read it. We then have Every Day by David Levithon. This is a young adult contemporary. This follows, I want to say, an entity or a person who wakes up in a different body every single day and lives that person's life. One day they wake up in the body of a particular person and they meet a girl that they begin to fall in love with, but the problem arises that our main character shifts bodies every single day, and it is, I assume, about identity and also about loving more than somebody's looks and people's looks and gender and things not contributing to attraction and love. That is all I know about this. It was very popular quite a few years ago. I picked it up because I recognized it and I had a mild interest in it, but I just keep skirting over this one on my shelves. We then have What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. I have a spotty track record with both of these authors. I like the one book from Adam Silvera I've read. I've read everything by Becky Albertalli that she's published and not liked a single book. I haven't heard great things about this, to be honest, but my best friend Ryan is a huge Adam Silvera fan and he quite likes Becky Albertalli. So he ended up for some reason with quite a few copies of this and he gave me one of these standard UK paperbacks that he didn't want, and as I had read everything by Becky Albertalli so far and I want to read more by Adam Silvera, I did accept this with the intention of unhauling it after I'd read it anyway, because even if I did read this, it's not the kind of book that I would probably hold on to. The plot of this, I believe, is that we follow two boys who meet at the post office, and I think they try to go on a series of dates but something goes wrong every single time and they are left asking the question, what if it's us? Like, what if they're just not compatible? Very mixed reviews about this. A lot of people I know really don't like it. So yeah, it's an off-putting one, especially because I know I don't like Becky Albertalli anyway, so I'm not likely to love it even if I do read it. We then have The Start of Me and You by Emery Lord. This is just a random contemporary that I acquired. The plot of this one is that we follow a girl whose boyfriend died and I don't think she's been really living since that incident. So she makes herself a plan with a list of things to do to get her back into life and get her back into the world, and then she meets a boy that changes her plans. So I'm assuming it's a young adult contemporary romance. We then have Daughter of the Flames by Zoe Marriott. I picked this up at a charity shop quite a number of years ago because it was one of those things, I've said this before, the charity shops near where I live often have a deal so you can have like 3 books for £1, and quite often I would pick up 2 books and need an extra one and not really know what it was that I wanted. So I picked this one up because it is a young adult fantasy and was probably the most interesting of what was there to make up my 3 books for £1. Now this is an East Asian fantasy, that is all I know about it, but the author is Zoe Marriott. Essentially, this is not a known voices story, which some of my favorite authors have written East Asian fantasy that isn't own voices, example J. Kristoff. However, with Zoe Marriott, it seems to be a theme with her, like she quite frequently writes Asian fantasy, and with so many great East Asian authors out there, Zoe Marriott is not the author that I want to be reading East Asian stories from. I know that her most recent book was some sort of Mulan retelling, and it was a big miss with a lot of people, so I'm not really sure about this one. I may read it just to see if she is a decent author, if she can pull off an East Asian fantasy story, but if I don't read this, I won't miss it when it's gone. Next up we have Battleground by Rachel Churcher. This is a book that was sent to me unsolicited by a self-published author. Now, the plot of this one is actually quite interesting. This is a young adult dystopian story that takes place in the UK after Brexit and also after Scottish independence. So this sounds like it's going to be a really interesting story. This sounds like a book that I would actually really enjoy. The only issue is that I don't read things that are a little bit too close to the bone, and seeing as the UK has just started the process of leaving the EU and Scottish independence is a very real possibility, I do not want to read a book that's set in that political climate because it could very well come true and it will just make me uncomfortable. Next up we have Clean by Juno Dawson. This very beautiful copper reflective cover. This is a young adult. I'm not sure whether it's contemporary or has some sci-fi dystopian elements in it, but I do know that it follows a girl who goes to rehab, and I think it's, well, it says here Gossip Girl goes to rehab, so it's about the dynamics of the people in rehab, I guess. I mean, to be fair, that premise does sound pretty exciting. It's just not something that I've ever reached for. I've heard from some people that the representation in here is not the best, but I think, to be honest, I would go into this on kind of a surface level and expecting it to be really bitchy but set in rehab. But either way, I am mildly interested in this. I'm not sure if I would enjoy it if I read it, but it may be a nice like kind of trash read, but I never pick it up, and I don't think I would actually miss it if it was gone. We then have The Lie Tree by Frances Hardinge. This is a book that I don't know too much about. The cover did intrigue me. I picked this up secondhand as usual. This follows a girl whose father dies under mysterious circumstances, so while she is searching through his things looking for a clue to his death, she comes across, I think it's a journal or a sketch pad with a picture of a tree, and she goes to find the tree to see if she can find any clues to what happened to her father. I don't know what it is about this author's books. I have The Cuckoo Song. Yeah, I have Cuckoo Song by Frances Hardinge as well, and none of them are particularly appealing to me. I think the covers on these may be a little bit misleading, and if I actually read this book, I would enjoy it more than I'm anticipating. It's just one of those authors where I'm not sure, there's just something subconscious inside of me that's not really making me want to read this, but I currently still have it because I'm not sure if I would actually enjoy it. So let me know your opinions on this one actually. Is it a good book? I then have The Midnight Queen by Sylvia Hunter. This one has a very strange synopsis. It is a little bit complicated, but it follows a man called Gray Marshall, and it says that in this world, in Britain, it's set in Britain, there are many tongues, many gods, and many magic. However, the way that the synopsis is written and the tone of the story makes me feel like this is more historical fiction. So I'm thinking that this is going to be like a British historical fantasy, and I'm not sure that that's going to work for me. The reason I picked this up is because the cover is absolutely stunning and it does mention magic, so I do want to at least give this a try. It's just the historical tone that I feel like this is going to give me is not what I like to read. And then the last book I have is Good Me Bad Me by Ali Land. This is a reasonably hyped thriller, or it was when it was released, and when I found it in a charity shop I did pick it up. However, from people who read quite a lot of thrillers, I've heard that it's actually not that good. This follows a mother and a daughter, and the mother is a serial killer. The daughter, I believe, turns her mother in, so her mother goes to prison and the daughter ends up with a foster family. However, there must be some complications here because the last line of the synopsis says blood is thicker than water. That is all I know about this. I do tend to go into thrillers pretty blind and just listen to people who say, hey, this thriller's good, and then I pick it up and see if I like it, to be fair. But yeah, it didn't have great reviews, which is why I'm considering unhauling this one. one, but it is a thriller, so if I did read it, it would probably only take me a couple of days, and it would probably be a wild ride because thrillers do tend to be that. Okay, so those are the 10 books that I'm going to be unhauling in 12 months if I have not read them. Please let me know if you have actually read and enjoyed any of these. Also let me know if you have read and not enjoyed any of these, and I will see you guys in 12 months to revisit this video, do a recap, find out whether I did like these books, whether I read them at all, which I didn't in the case of the last video. But that is about it for this video today, so please don't forget to like if you liked it and subscribe if you want to. If you head to my description box, you will find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram, Twitter if you'd like to follow me on any of those, as well as a link to my Bookish body butter and candle website, the Instagram for that, and a 10% off discount code. That's it from me today, guys. Bye.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you will go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.